All right, hello everybody. Here we are looking at Google Slides. Again, Google Slides is an online version of PowerPoint. Google Slides comes with a lot of collaborative and interactive tools, which makes it very useful for use in the classroom. In this case, on the right-hand side of the screen, we can actually see a chat window that was going back and forth between students as they were working on this project. As the teacher, if you have the students share with you as one of the users, that allows you to also log in and see what their progress was. They can also ask you questions about the project instead of having to bring it in, show it to you, or wait for them after school, before school. You can simply leave the chat. They can leave you a message. You can respond. I can actually click in here and actually make changes physically to their project if I wished, which certainly makes it a very useful tool for us with everyone having different schedules. Just like PowerPoint, you're able to put notes at the bottom that only the presenter can see. So as you click through the project, you can leave specific information. So as they were presenting to the class, this information was available to them while they were talking about this slide. Also, if we come back, we can see here the chat that was going on. As a teacher, this is also very useful. You can click into the change log, so I can actually see at what time were the students working together, both names at the same time. Was one student working alone, two separate names, and I can look and see really who did the majority of the work. And so this group did a really nice job of working together and sharing the responsibility in terms of edits and material. As far as presenting in class, you can easily download these presentations in multiple formats. Simply go to download. You can grab it as a PDF, Microsoft PowerPoint, as actual just images, which you can then embed in other slides. You can also publish it to the internet, so you don't actually have to download it. So we can actually go straight to the presentation button from here, and we go to a full screen, and now we immediately are presenting just like we were in school using PowerPoint. The benefit of, again, using Google Docs is that it's online. It saves continuously, so you don't have to ever worry about losing your material. You can collaborate, share with multiple people, and still have pretty much all of the benefits of PowerPoint without having to spend all that money on it. So an excellent tool, particularly for people who have to work on group projects from multiple locations who can't get together at the library at the same time. Google Slides even has an app, so you can run this from a phone. It's going to take a lot of pinching and zooming, but you can do this even on a cell phone. All right, and we're back. So now we are looking at Haiku Deck. Haiku Deck is a relatively new player on the scene here as far as online web presentations. Haiku Deck is really pushing this idea of having simple, bold graphics, basic words on a screen. So what many experts consider best practice as far as a presentation. Not 1,000 bullet points, not a million things on the screen. Let the speaker be the focus, and let the presentation simply be a backdrop and a support for them. Would I necessarily select this technique if I was trying to present about all of the inner details of the human digestive system? Probably not. There I need to be a little bit more dense with my material, at least in terms of what is displayed on the screen. But if you're doing something where you're looking at theme or examining the motivations of characters or members of history, this might be a really effective way of prompting the conversation, inspiring particular thoughts with the graphics that you've selected. Haiku Deck again is online. There's an iPad app as well as the web interface. I'll launch this in a moment, but if we were to scroll down the screen, we can actually see each individual slide. So there they are. If we launch this to full screen, we can now again toggle across and see how they're pushing big images with bold phrasing. They have already cleared all of the images in their image gallery, so you can use them without licensing fees, particularly for educational purposes. They also integrate very easily with Flickr, Instagram, Dropbox, Google Plus Photos, all of the places that you might already have images stored on the web. You can pull them directly into here with very little trouble. So if you are trying to have a very clear purpose and a clear message, this style of presentation may be the way to go. So there you see it. And we can kick back out. Haiku Deck also allows you to control who sees your presentations. You can make them public to the entire internet, private to just who you share the link with, or even private to just one or two people. So again, something worth checking out. Sway is a new preview app. It's online. It's free to sign up for. It's going to integrate with Office. If you already have an Office Online account, either free or paid, it's one of the apps that you can access along with online Word and Excel and all of those other apps that we're familiar with. Sway itself is an alternative to PowerPoint. What it lets you do is create and share presentations or information in a way that is adaptable to many different screens. So whereas a traditional PowerPoint wants to take up the whole screen on every single device and just go slide 1, slide 2, slide 3, Sway is much more adaptable. There are algorithms which they describe in the preview materials that were designed by professionals who then take your information, split it up, and kick it back out as a published document. And that document will change its form based on how you're viewing it. So here on my laptop, if I were to fire up this preview edition here, they've taken these images and the text and they've converted them into this horizontal scrolling, almost like virtual picture book. And so as you toggle across, it takes this information and shows it to you. You can embed videos, you can embed graphics, pretty much anything that you have access to on the internet is now available in a Sway. So if we were to escape out of this, I don't actually know how, and look at something that I just started working on real quick. I've taken the information that I was presenting. You have the option to drop it in as video, text, as a stack, which is basically a set of slides. You can do a A-B slide back and forth as a slideshow. I've placed that information inside Sway, and if I go to preview mode, it's decided that I wanted a web page. I could just as easily come back. Oops. If you hit the remix button, it just sort of automatically reformats your presentation in different ways. There we go. If we come over here to design, we actually have an option of going vertical or again horizontal. So that gives me this side scrolling option. And that's pretty much it. You can share with people, you can embed things. There's different ways of having feedback. Again, this is pretty new stuff. But what's really supposed to be the key point to this is you can make a presentation that looks good and adapts to the screen size that you're using. So if you think that the majority of your students might be on iPads or phones, Sway might be one way to make that information much more accessible to them. It's all stored in the cloud, so you don't have to worry about losing information as you work, and you can download it and then present it locally. Again, this is a preview product, so it may disappear, it may change significantly between now and then, but it's just one more option out there. All right, so here we're looking at Prezi, which is an online presentation tool. It's been relatively popular over the past couple of years. Prezi's allow you to make three-dimensional, if you will, presentations. You're able to zoom in and out. It's collaborative. You can work online. Students can start with a free account. They don't have to pay anything. However, there are higher tiers, particularly if you're a teacher or somebody who does lots of presentations. You would certainly want to look at some of their pricing. Again, as an educator, we're able to sign up for a higher tier account for free. Basically, the main benefit is we can make our presentations private, which means they're not searchable through the Prezi website. You can still embed them in your own website or hand out links to the class, but by default, they won't be searchable, whereas anybody else's Prezi made with a free account is open to the public. So if that matters to you, that is one benefit that you can have signing up for an account. So this is just a presentation done recently in my class by some students. We're going to go ahead and go full screen here. Prezi will respond to your standard PowerPoint presentation clicker, so you can still drive these from the front of the class using your presentation tool. You can also use the arrow keys or your mouse, so you can present it in a linear manner. So I'm clicking forward now, and you can see how it's zooming from section to section. Prezis are particularly useful if you want to show how different concepts relate to each other. So here's the big main idea of how color blindness is diagnosed, and then I can come in and show the actual way that you would diagnose using these color plates, and then pull back out and show the next fact. So if you're trying to show the relationship between many ideas, you can create visually a word web or a spider outline, whatever they're calling them these days. And you can do that with Prezi. The other nice thing is I can just take my mouse and I can take control of the screen, and I can move wherever I want. So I can zoom in, zoom out using the mouse. And so it gives you much more control than you would say in a PowerPoint, where I can immediately now zoom out and move across to where I was before without having to stop the presentation and restart it. I can simply move in, move out using the mouse, and then immediately just pick up where I left off and proceed across. So if this wasn't enough zoom on the screen, I can now take control and really pull that in and show what I was talking about, and then immediately just resume the presentation. So Prezi is pretty good that way in terms of only requiring a connection to the internet. You can embed these files into websites. There's also the ability to allow for comments and to track other work done by that student. And you can even create timings. Other people can collaborate with you if you share the link with them, and so on. So that's a quick overview of Prezi.